Hey everybody, it's Leah. So I wanted to make a video about your worth and your value because I have my previous video that I've recorded was about the law of attraction and the missing link, which is knowing your worth. So I want to start talking about examples of individuals or circumstances where you don't know your worth, and you may not know that's why life is hard, or why why it's hard. So, for example, me, I am just discovering how important your worth and value is because I have found over my own journey of self-development and self-love that we all are subjected to this duality world, this contrast world, meaning good, bad, yin, yang, black and white, good, bad, good, evil. So it's very easy to have your self-worth and your self-value challenged a lot. I mean, a lot of the media and a lot of the things that we see are altered and fake, like women's image, like our body image. A lot of what we see is manipulated and distorted and not even real. So our self-image and our self-value and our worth are challenging there for women. I'm not a man, but I know that there's got to be very similar things, very similar circumstances that this world delivers to a man's ego that makes them feel less than, not good enough, not strong enough, not manly enough. And women, same thing, kind of. Anyway, so men and women are both subjected to easily diminishing your value. And from what I've researched, a lot of our value and our self-worth was mostly chipped away from the ages of like 0 to 7. So a lot of us can't even remember when or why we didn't feel like we were enough, or when or why we started not thinking we were worth it, or we didn't have value in this world. And then if you look back on your childhood, if you were bullied or you were the bullier, that is a sure indication that your self-value and self-worth has been compromised. And then you get into high school, thinking you're not good enough to hang with the pretty girls, or you're not good enough to date the pretty girl, or that you're not pretty enough to date the guy that you're interested in because you don't think you're worth it. They're on a pedestal and you're not. Or yeah. So, and then in relationships are where I learn the most when people do not know their self-value. If you don't know your worth and your self-value and what you deserve, a lot of times you're looking for it in others, or they're looking for it in you. And knowing, and so those are just indications, or work or business, if it's not your relationships that suffer in that in that category of your life. Maybe in a business sense, you don't think you're smart enough to have the job that pays you well, or you don't think you're worth a good paying job, that you're not smart enough, or you're not strong enough, or so all these ideas about yourself and are lowering your self-worth and self-value. And that is exactly how I live too. So, I mean, this is just something that I'm discovering. Now, how does this happen? Well, our brain is very, we've heard from a young, I know I've heard this, from the ages of 0 to 12. I mean, our brains just are sponges and absorb this environment, absorb how to live in this world. We are, from the moment we're born, we're learning about this reality, but we also are taking in consideration how people treat us. And, if somebody with low self-value that is older than you tells you that you're stupid, why didn't you get it, why didn't you listen, even the simplest things like that can really start to chip away at a child's self-value. Or even if you're not the direct victim of abuse and you have witnessed it and it makes you feel bad, that even in itself will lower your self-worth and self-value, because in a circumstance like that, if you value yourself and your self-worth, you feel like you don't deserve to be witnessing this. Is this your fault? Are they fighting about me? These childhood things that seem so minute they're just as big as if you get beat up in high school for looking funny. Words hurt. And even if you don't think that you're still carrying that, but your life's not so hot, reconsider. So, in other words, your brain has been brainwashed into thinking that you're not good enough. This whole world is full of things to brainwash us to think that we are not good enough. So, how do you gain self-worth and self-value? Well, you have to fake it till you make it. Brainwash your brain that you are enough. That you are enough, you have value. And you remember when we were kids, and I don't even know if they do this anymore, but you remember when you used to get in trouble and you would have to write 100 times, I will not do this again, I will not do this again, I will not do this again. Whatever you did, I will not do this again, I will not do this again. Well, that's actually very effective, because the same way you lost your value, you can gain it. By being told that you're not good enough in certain contexts, whether they're sugar-coated or somebody's joking, or playful banter, or like locker room talk. If your value is already down a little, those things, even though you think they're not hurting you, people with value don't talk to each other like that. People with self-worth don't talk shit. They don't. So if you have been bullied, or, had family members, say they're just joking all the time, it's because they don't self-value or they don't have self-worth either. So, we can really retrain our brain to believe that we are enough. So to regain your self-worth and your self-value, you have to tell yourself every day that I am enough, I am enough, I am valuable, I am enough, I deserve the world, I am enough. I personally put myself in detention and write I am enough on a whole piece of paper, and then I go to bed. So you can try out that task. Other people can write it on their mirror in their bathroom, but it's you don't have to gain your self-value and self-worth. You don't have to be anybody but yourself. When you were born with 100% of your self-worth and self-value. I heard this was cute. This lady that talks about this, I think her name's Marissa Peers. She talks about how babies can have a load in their pants, and they don't care. They don't think it lowers their self-value, or that they're disgusting. And if you look at them, they smile and giggle, and they're just as happy to see you, and they're not embarrassed. They don't care. Like, you were born with all your self-worth and self-value. This world it's a difficult world to live in and maintain your self-worth and your self-value. It is a task that has never been taught. This should be taught in school more than anything else. But we can start retraining our brain to believe it. And so just like if you want to be the best musician, just like if you want to be super duper strong and you got to work out to achieve it, or if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to college and study. Same. If you want to be good at this, you got to practice it, and you got to write it down, and you got to convince yourself again that you are worth it and you have value. And as soon as you start regaining it day by day by day, you'll figure out who you are. You know, a lot of times people say, well, how do I find happiness? You know, you got to figure out who you are. Well, how do you figure out who you are if you have a distorted idea of who you are? If you have no self-worth and self-value, you have no idea what you really like and who you really are, because you have doubts, you have resistance, you have negative thoughts about yourself. If you can start upping the ante of your self-worth and your self-value, then when you think about the job that you want or the relationship you want, you won't think, oh, that'll never happen to me. You know? You just confirmed it by saying, oh, that'll never happen to me. I gotta work really hard to be able to have that. No, you don't. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. If you're gonna work hard at anything, you work hard at not earning, because you don't need to earn your self-worth and self-value. Work hard at convincing yourself that you already are good enough for anything that you want. And that is what we all need to know who we are. Because when you know your self-worth and your self-value, then you know that the best in your head is what you want, what you need. What you need is what's best for you. For example, I used to be one of those girls that you would say, oh, I don't need diamonds. I don't need that big old fancy house. I don't need that. Of course I don't need it, but I fucking deserve it. So who cares how much it costs or what it says about me? It shouldn't say anything that we possess shouldn't say shit about who you are. It shouldn't. But if, for example, if you do believe that you don't need diamonds and you don't need luxury and you don't need that stuff, yet you're not happy with your life, your value's down, your worth is down. It's down. You need to convince yourself that you deserve the best, the most expensive, whatever it is, you deserve it. And you're gonna get it as soon as you start believing in yourself. So I hope this helps. This has been helping me, and I just want to share what I've been doing to up my self-worth and self-value, and I will keep you updated on the things that I learned from here on out, because I've been on quite a journey of finding true happiness, and this is where it led me so far. So I hope you guys have a great day, and you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Repeat, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Try to do that as much as you can. As much as you can. Sing it to yourself in the shower. Tell yourself that you deserve anything that you want and you are enough. And you know, it might be hard to say and write down at first, but don't give up. Don't give up. It's just like riding a horse. If you fall off, you better get fucking back on that thing if you want a victory. If you want to control your life, get back on and don't give up. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good day.